Session, asking an agent to summarise the property market in 5 minutes is a major challenge for me, but I'm going to do my very best. Richard has given guidance not to cover a lot of subjects, but the real estate sector is a broad one. But anyway, 5 minutes I will do, and hopefully will provoke some questions and thoughts. I've been at Knight Frank since 1983, so perhaps make even Richard feel young. Just completed my 37th year in the industry. 20 plus years of that was involved in the office sector, office agency and development. Whilst the firm has a strong residential brand, I think it's important for context that you understand and know that 50% of our UK income is commercial, transactions and advisory, and our overseas businesses are pretty much exclusively in the commercial arenas. Within the commercial arenas, office, development, agency and advisory account for a large proportion of our workload. And in that regard, to acknowledge that there was already a significant change in place around dynamic working, working from home, co-sharing. You will have seen much publicity about the WeWork model, which perhaps controversially was Regis Mark II. It's just an adaptation 20 years later. And look what happens when the markets retract, people move most quickly from flexible office environments. There's no surprise to me in that. But what was the key point to my mind is that I think dynamic working as a culture is here to stay. We at Knight Frank actually did a pilot study, ironically, last winter, so we're better prepared for what was ahead, where we invited people to take responsibility for where they could best execute their work. It might have been at home, it might have been in the office, it might have been at a client's office, it could have been on the move, it could be a hotel room, it could be anywhere. And that model taught us a lot, firstly, to go into lockdown, and secondly, for the long term of the dynamic working and flexible working environment, which the COVID experience has unquestionably accelerated for all office-based businesses. However, our engagement with a whole range of landlord and occupier clients suggests that a very mixed outturn is expected from the COVID experience. And let's be honest, it's going to be 12 or 18 months before we know really what the structural shift is going to be in that market. Will offices become obsolete? Will they be used differently? Will they be used more intensively? The one encouraging factor with a vested interest was that most markets went into the COVID environment without an oversupply. So offices in London were full, offices in New York were full, offices in Hong Kong, etc. Were full. It has led us to, in our engagement with our clients, to work out, of course, what the future is going to look like. And I have learned a lot, or been reminded of a lot, around the importance of a workplace. Perhaps it won't be called an office. The importance of a workplace for culture, for engagement with people, for collaboration, early careers. We did our graduate scheme in the summer. We did our intern and apprentice schemes in the summer still, some virtually, some physically, but we continued that commitment. You can't train, learn and develop young people without a workplace environment. Perhaps controversially, one of the outputs of the COVID experience might be people want more space. We've gone through 30 years of giving people less space per head, sharing everything, co-working, sitting, one desk. You don't have a desk, you share a day, you come in one day, use one desk. That's all on its head at the moment. We have got desks for everybody again, and there is a suggestion that more space might be needed. People want well-being as a greater focus within the office environment, embracing the ESG agenda, which I know is going to come on to later. But one thing I will say, having lived through several cycles of the property industry, normally all issues relating to philanthropy and the environment go in the bin. This year, they have just risen up the agenda. So ESG was not only gathering momentum, but as far as I can see, within a workplace and real estate environment, it's just gone up a gear because of the COVID experience. So well-being, diversity are key issues on our agenda, and real estate has not got a great profile when it comes to diversity, and I'm happy to pick that up later. So in summary, the office workplace I believe will have a strong value, strong position to play unquestionably, but it will change its purpose and that will adapt. How that looks in demand, we won't know for another 12 or 18 months. Very quickly in my final minute, or is it minus a minute, but just to let you know, the residential market is really very busy. That's taken us by surprise. People definitely want more space. They want room in their buildings for studying. There's no surprises there, but it has led to an extraordinarily busy period across the field for residential. Equally, the retail market is restructuring even more quickly than it was restructuring before, and logistics or distribution, as you will have seen, are gaining even greater momentum. Hospitality and leisure is in a ghastly place, and who knows, I reckon actually hotels will come back quite quickly, but only when people can travel and business is being done in any new normal way. I think for the food and beverage sector, that's a whole different kettle of fish. The alternatives around the private rented sector, student property, data centres, healthcare, retirement are all actually incredibly busy, suggesting to me that real estate has got many moving parts and actually has never been more dynamic. But unquestionably, office function will change, but we believe will ultimately retain their value. Richard, thank you.